So President Biden just admitted something, and I'm not being dramatic. It truly does terrify me. And I think it should terrify you too, based on this premise that I think all Americans can agree with. The premise being Putin is not a good guy. Putin is, well, dare I say, an evil guy. Putin is just not good. Assuming we can agree on that premise, then we should also be able to agree with why we're now in a very terrifying situation if we take President Biden at face value, which I'm going to do here. Now, I realize a lot of people would disagree with this tweet, but you know what? I'm going to take him at face value. And if you haven't seen this tweet yet, I'm sure you've already read through it as I talk here. But at the core, of course, prices going up, gas prices going up, everything going up. And as President Biden has said, and, hey, feeling the impact. So yeah, he admits, which I would agree with, there are lots of hard impacts out there of what? Of Putin's price hike. Okay, so it's Putin that has caused these price hikes. What did we all just agree about Putin? He's not a good guy. He's an evil guy. He's a dictator. He's just not good. So let me get this right. This doesn't sound good. I'm very scared to know that apparently our prices here in America can be influenced by somebody that's really bad, by somebody that's really evil. I haven't seen anybody talking about this. I've seen lots of debates out there about, well, is it really Putin's fault, or is it Biden's fault, or is it Trump's fault? All this sort of stuff. And okay, I'm not saying that those debates and discussions shouldn't take place, but I haven't seen anybody say, well, let's just take Biden at face value. This is very scary. That an evil person, a bad person, can influence the prices here in America. That's terrifying to me. Now, I don't like to be one of those people that sits here and I'm scared, and, which is a problem, right? I think we can all agree that an evil person having the ability to control our prices here in America is a bad thing. That's a problem. Again, I think we can agree on that. But I also don't want to be someone that just throws out problems without a solution. So here's my thoughts on a solution. Obviously, this is all being, based on oil and gas, right? Because that's one of Russia's big, exports, and that's having a big impact on things. And again, yeah, absolutely. So, okay, well, is there anything that we could do to fight against that? And there's really two things we could do about it. One, go green, get green, EV, all that sort of stuff. I agree. But there's also something else we could do. We could increase domestic production. We could get more oil and gas because we also happen to have that, to which I agree. So in my opinion, the quickest way to get away from having an evil person be able to control our prices here at home is to do both, to do maximum. Let's go green. Let's get green. But let's also drill. Let's open up domestic production. And at the end of the day, competition is a good thing. I don't understand, well, I do understand why, but I mean, this whole idea of, EV, environmental, green, fantastic. Let's go for it. But in order to make it the best possible, it needs competition. Competition against what? Well, competition against fossil fuels, the stuff that we have. Force it to compete. Competition is because now green has to get very efficient. It's actually got to become viable, right? And when you put the pressures of competition on it, that's a good thing. But even if you disagree with that, remember, my core premise here is being built upon what Biden said. If an evil person has the ability to control our prices, then we should be doing everything right now to get out of the shadow of that. Everything possible. So going all green, but also opening up domestic, which, like I said, that little rabbit trail does create competition, which is good because it's going to make green energy that much better. Now, okay, you're going to say, and what I've seen, and I want to just offer up solutions, but Clay, there's already all sorts of permits. There's already all sorts of opportunity for companies to drill here, to produce more, but they're not doing it. Why would they do it? Prices are high. And you're right, but again, this is not a debatable point. A little story here. So if you were to have kids or yourself or whatever, and there's a playground, and this playground has barbed wire and landmines and needles sticking up and just all sorts of broken glass, rusty nails. and somebody says, yeah, you're free. You're free to go play. Send your kids in there. Would you do that? Well, of course not. You would say, well, yeah, that's great. You're saying that you're permitting me to go and do that, but that seems kind of like a lot of risk. That seems like there's a whole lot of unknowns, risk, danger into deploying capital, or, in this situation, deploying my kid into that sort of environment. Again, that's nice. You are permitting me to do that. But yeah, there's too many risks there. So you know what? I'm just going to sit back here and I'm going to go the less risky route. And that's what's going on with the whole idea of domestic energy. Yes, the truth of the matter is there's lots of current permits out there for companies to go and drill. But it's no secret that, Biden ran on a very, no, we don't like fossil fuels. We don't like that sort of, industry during his campaign. And to his credit, he is living up to that promise. So I'm not calling him a liar. I'm just stating the fact of that's what he said, and that's what he is doing. So if you're an oil company and you know that it is that type of environment, sure, the government has told you, yeah, you can go drill. Yeah, you've been permitted, but you don't just show up and then just start drilling. No, you have to build infrastructure. You have to do all these other things to get the oil, to store the oil, to transport the oil, and all those other things need additional permits. But are you really, as an oil company, going to take on all that risk to go and get all those other permits in this sort of environment? Of course you're not. Now, the next thing you're going to say, which is good, which because you're thinking and you're not wrong at all. But Clay, okay, fine. Let's say that Biden opens up all this stuff. It's still going to take a long time. To your own admission, Clay, you got to build infrastructure. You got to be able to transport this stuff. It's not like you just, snap your finger and oil starts to come out of the ground. You're absolutely right. Fair point. It is going to take time. However, and this is where something I can speak to with authority to, and I'm assuming you as viewers, 80% of you are probably traders. You're in the markets and you understand how this stuff works. But for those of you that don't, a quick little lesson here. But the markets are very forward looking, meaning stuff doesn't even need to happen, yet things will change. So let me go to a chart here and let me show you exactly what I mean by this. So here we are looking at the NASDAQ, and the NASDAQ is just built up of technology stocks. And technology stocks, like I said, I realize many of you probably understand this, but for those of you that don't, I'm also, I can't go into every single detail of it, but just from a broad sense, technology stocks are very interest rate sensitive, meaning if interest rates start to rise, that's not good for them. So at this point, as of the recording of this video, check out what has happened to just the general market in terms of technology stocks. So right around here, it was basically getting universally accepted that, interest rates are going to be rising. Now, let me be very clear. Interest rates, as right now, still have not yet risen. They've not yet risen. However, because the market is forward-looking and knows that interest rates will be rising, notice what's already happened to these values of all these companies and so forth. They've gotten beat down. What's my point? President Biden, and I want to go back to this right here because to your credit, and I appreciate it, sir, you're fighting to bring down everyday prices that are squeezing Americans. Fantastic. So here's a way, again, from somebody that can speak with authority, and any of you, 80% of you understand this, but you could bring down the prices of oil right now without even drilling. How? Well, step number one, you display an attitude that you are willing to get the process moving, that you're willing to be friendly towards oil and domestic production. How can you do this? I mean, a quick and easy thing would be just approve the Keystone Pipeline again. Once more, I understand. Well, Clay, that's not going to be up for years. It's not going to actually produce anything. That's not the matter. The futures market, which is where the prices of, or again, I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole too far, but the futures market would destroy the price of oil. Why? Well, because people would say, wow, Biden is changing his attitude. He literally just approved the Keystone Pipeline. He's literally saying that he is going to make the permitting process that much more efficient. He's going to start permitting things so people can build up the infrastructure, build up the pipelines, do what they need to do. Wow. And what is that? Because they know in the future, yes, that will cause prices to go down, hence the futures market. But that means prices are going to go down right now because The way it all works is people are forward looking and prices would go down immediately. Not based on there actually being more drilling, but knowing that there's an attitude change that will allow for more drilling. And let me circle back. And I'm not saying that we just stop green. I'm just saying all the green stuff, all the green and investing, that still goes on. Keep it going. Again, I don't want to have my prices controlled by an evil person. So I want us firing on all cylinders as a country, both green and fossil fuels. And like I said, you have that change of attitude. And from the futures market standpoint, like you saw with technology stocks and having interest rates not even risen, yet those prices falling. That's exactly what happened with oil. So hopefully some of this happens, but that's very scary. Very scary to know that we are being controlled by an evil person, or not we, but our prices are being controlled by an evil person. And, I hope Biden does fight. And I know he's already fighting on the green energy front. But just, from a suggestion standpoint, you could crush oil prices right now if you wanted to with a change of attitude and, taking some action. And, an easy way to take action and show people that you are changing your attitude is just to, get that Keystone pipeline back up and running, and then just start to publicly put in, public policies that, we are here to start getting things permitted and permitted quickly. We're not going to drag our feet. We're going to get stuff going like now, because I don't want my country, I don't want our country to be, have puppet strings apparently attached to us where evil people, evil dictators can all of a sudden start twisting and turning and making our prices fluctuate all over the place. That's a very scary thing. What are your thoughts? Any other solutions? Please comment, leave those down below. But I just had to comment on this because I haven't seen anybody comment on how scary this actually is. I just don't want my prices being controlled by Vladimir Putin. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.